Former federal prosecutor Scott Tenley joins us now to talk about what all this means. Scott, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. You know, this came as somewhat of a surprise, these new charges in the Mar-a-Lago documents case. Can you break down what this now means?
Well, yeah, I think we were all sitting back waiting for a potential January 6th indictment and had no idea that the special counsel was going to bring superseding charges in the classified documents case. And what it shows is that investigation marches on full speed, even after it's been charging, focusing on the people around President Trump who have been assisting him in his crimes. And as you said just a moment ago, this is a strong case that has just gotten significantly stronger because evidence of obstruction of justice, of deleting documents, of deleting servers, security tapes, that's what shows to every juror this defendant knew he was doing something wrong.
Well, that's, you know, a Trump spokesman, and we heard the former president himself say that this is nothing more than a continued desperate and failing attempt by the Biden administration to harass President Trump and those around him. But when you go to delete things and ask people to do that for you, that's pretty serious.
Absolutely. And remember, that conversation happened on the heels. I think it was 1 or 2 days after a federal grand jury subpoena was issued. And that's the type of conduct that the Department of Justice takes incredibly serious. No matter if you're the president of the United States or an everyday ordinary American, if you receive process in a criminal investigation and then set out with others to destroy evidence, most likely you are going to be prosecuted. President Trump is being treated no different than anyone else.
You know, the one thing that comes with this is there's now a new defendant. And if you look at it, it's a maintenance worker on the property. We've already seen his valet. These are people who, you know, from what I've heard in various circles, you know, they really wanted to be respected by the president. They liked having their jobs looked at, you know, in a good light by him. They wanted validation from him. Is this, are they trying to pressure people to flip, or are these easy people to go after because, you know, they do have smaller roles within Mar-a-Lago?
Well, it's interesting. As we've seen, a lot of people who come into Trump's orbit end up facing criminal charges. It's because he is acting so corruptly and using the people around him to engage in those corrupt and criminal acts. Certainly, there was an interest by the special counsel to have De Oliveira flip and testify, but he didn't. He chose a different course. He chose not to tell the truth. We have evidence in the indictment or allegations that he lied straight up to the FBI about whether he was involved in the boxes. And so I don't think he's some sort of low-level person that the government is just abusing because he doesn't have power. This is somebody who made a deliberate choice not to tell the truth and to assist President Trump in obstructing justice. And that's why he finds himself in the indictment.
Yeah, I do have to imagine, though, there's been a lot of pressure on these two from the outside, which you know, make of that what you want. Prosecutors are, you know, they're now meeting with his lawyers as well. You just brought about, too, you know, we're talking about January 6th, potentially indictment coming down. What should we be looking for here? What could we see happen today and moving forward in coming days, both on now this, which was a surprise, and what we expect to happen with the January 6th indictment?
Well, we heard the other day, I think it was yesterday, that President Trump's lawyers went into the Department of Justice to meet with the special counsel's office. And typically, having been a part of those meetings as a prosecutor and a defense lawyer, that's when the defense has an opportunity to present information that the prosecutors might not know, why a witness isn't credible, some other facts, some other circumstances that might change prosecutors' minds. But we know that the special counsel's office has been tremendously thorough in its investigation, and there's really nothing new that the president could have argued in that meeting. So I anticipate we will see an indictment within the next couple days. The grand jury meets on a regular schedule. So I think it's almost a certainty we will see that January 6th indictment. And really the big question is, who else will be named in that indictment? Because we have heard of others in the Trump orbit getting target letters. So that will be interesting to see.
Well, it'll be interesting to see who gets the letters and what role they played within the White House. It sounds like his attorneys, too, the former president's attorneys, are asking for a delay. It seems that that would help him, correct?
Yeah, certainly a delay always helps the defense. You never know what circumstances will change, what Supreme Court opinions will come down, what election results will come back. You know, for instance, adding a new defendant in the Mar-a-Lago case, that's another opportunity for them to seek further delay and push that trial date past the election. But we've seen that the special counsel's office is quite canny. If they were concerned about that, they may not have added this defendant, but they thought it was so important and to their case and to justice that they decided they needed to take the risk and bring those superseding charges, even if it would cause delay.
Well, we'll continue to watch this. We know the former president, along with many of the other Republican candidates for president, will be in Iowa tonight for the Lincoln dinner. So we'll see how the other candidates respond to this news as well. Scott, thanks so much.
My pleasure.